Hello, and in today's video we're doing an FPL team selection video for game week number 4. It's a bit of a crazy one, this Friday deadline at 6:30, because right now on YouTube is streaming from FPL Juice. They are the best content creators out there, so do give them a subscribe on YouTube, FPL Juice, and they're doing this really cool content idea where they're basically hopping between different FPL content creators and channels, and they're just kind of jumping in at different points to watch other people's deadline streams. So this is my deadline stream. It is being released obviously at 6:30. That's what I do every week. So yeah, do smash a like on the video if you go on to enjoy this one. Comment your transfers you've made in game week 4. Obviously it's a big game week because there's some nice fixtures for some big teams, and it is of course the last game week before that first international break next weekend. So yeah, do give a subscribe to FPL Juice because it's absolute quality, the content they do. It's so funny, and it's really going places. So yeah, just shout out to them. But we'll get into the video for game week 4, and if you did miss my game week 3 FPL team review, then do check it out. That was kind of talking about certain things that went wrong in game week 3 and hoping to put those things right in game week 4, but a lot of the discussion in that video might be relevant to the video I'm about to do. So if you did get a chance after watching this, then do go back and check it. So game week 4 today, this is what we're doing. And so before I begin with my team selection, let me just tell you about this. The league administration. Yes, this is my mini league from this season, and I'm afraid now that the deadline has passed, you will not be able to join it. And I'm going to show it to you live, me basically closing the league to any new entries. The reason for this is we don't want people joining late on in the season if they're having a good FPL season and then they suddenly get the title right at the last minute, because we want teams to be in the league pretty much the whole season. So that was always the plan, that I was going to let the league open until that first game week before the international break. So this is the last chance, and so hopefully everyone that wanted to join the league has done. I've got to say thank you so much to all that's joined this season, because it's actually record amount of people in the mini league. 230 people, or 33 34 in the league. It's just incredible, so thank you so much. And whilst I'm saying thank yous, I did tweet out about this, and you can follow me on Twitter at RobertoHollis9. But I've got to say thank you again for the engagement on Twitter. It's just been absolutely amazing. I know it's called X these days, but still, most people usually still call it Twitter. But yeah, it's been an unbelievable season already, because August for me was a record month for tweet impressions, and there was a lot of new followers on there as well. So just to sum up the 28-day summary, tweet impressions 437k and up by 50.2%. That is just unbelievable. So that's a record number of tweet impressions, but also quite a lot of followers. We've now got up to 1,940 followers. So we're nearly at 2,000. Can we get that very, very soon? If you do enjoy my FPL content, then give me a follow there. That would be much appreciated. And yeah, we've also gone up by 130 with that. So 1,940 followers there. But yeah, so regarding this mini league, ultimately, this is the moment really that I'm going to be closing the league, because, as I say, we want to keep these people in the season all long. And so here we're going to get into the video. But here it is, the moment of truth. The current time actually of live streaming, although it's coming out at 6:30, is around about 6 o'clock. So it is only 30 minutes away from that deadline. So I feel that I've given people enough time, hopefully, to have joined the league by now, and hopefully no one will join in last minute. So yeah, it's the moment of truth really. We are going to get it done. We are going to close the league entry now for anyone new coming in. So hopefully, as I say, everyone has joined that want to. I've pretty much given you most of the day to do it, so should be absolutely fine. And I think a lot of people, as I say, thank you so much for the support on the channel. I mean, the recent videos as well have been getting a lot more views than usual. Like the last game week review, 197 views, and the video before that, 216. The video before that, getting past 100 with 105. So yeah, if you do like FPL content and really are enjoying my content, which is so rewarding as a content creator to hear that. So yeah, thank you again for being so generous with that, and yeah, do share it if you like what you see. So we're going to close the league to any new entries now. Here it is. Updating now. And there we go. The league. Wait, what? Hang on. Sorry. Okay, this is a bit weird. It says that permission is denied, but that cannot be right. Oh, dearie me. You know what's happened? Oh, dear. Yeah, it's logged me out for some reason. So, this better not be the site crashing. I really hope it isn't. Let me just put in my password very quickly. And hopefully, when we come back to this, we can actually log in. Oh, dear. All right. You know what I'm going to need to do? This is an absolute shambles. Why have I been logged out then? Okay. Bear with me, people. Just, just talk amongst yourselves. Sorry about this, people. This is a bit annoying. Sometimes it does do this, and I just have to kind of go with the flow. So just bear with me as I quickly do this. So yeah, sorry about that, people. I don't know what happened there, so apologies for that. No, we are back in now. So let's go back to the league, and hopefully I can do what I was just about to do, which was close the entry. I don't know whether or not it has updated. No, it didn't update for some reason. So we're going to try that again, people. Apologies for that. And now we're going to try and update that league. There we go. So I think now, if I go to here, yes, it does say close league to new entries. So it has updated the league, and therefore no one can join, as far as I'm aware, anymore. So that is great. So just talking of the league, actually, this is how we're looking in the current standings after the first 3 match weeks of the season. Well done to the August Manager of the Month. I've got to say, impressive stuff. With 242 points, it's the Chelsea fan, Ashley Valentin. Very, very good. What a kind of start to the season he's had. Just looking at some of the game weeks he's done. I mean, look, game week 3 was a good one for many, but Pascal Gross with 10 points. Fantastic differential there, as well as Madison, who, a lot of people transferred out last week because there were reports of an injury after he had those precautionary crutches against Manchester United after the game. But he ended up being fit to play, and as of course, is always the way with FPL. Classic FPL luck is he was fit to play and he scored, just to rub it in for those that sold. So Fernandez as well, doing very well with 12 points. So a very good game week in game week number 3 with 64. Top 500k game week ranks not to be sniffed at. Then game week 2, interestingly, Ashley played his free hit. Very interesting because it's very early in the season. Obviously, chips are usually played latter in stages of the season when there's those double game weeks and blank game weeks, and the free hit is often used in a blank game week. But fair play, Ashley went for it in a single, and there was obviously a few fixtures that were favourable, like Salah against Bournemouth and many more. So he went for it, but 75 points is still amazing because he had Solly March with his 15-pointer against Wolves. Differential for Szoboszlai. He got an attacking return against Bournemouth. Also, Nketiah scored in that game against Crystal Palace. Oh no, sorry, he didn't. He got an assist. I thought that was the case. And of course, he did get the haul from Mitoma against Wolves, as did Estupinian. So great game week. Shame about the Areola 10-pointer and the Semenyo goal on the bench, but still, unbelievable free hit there. But the real reason that Ashley's so high up was because he had an absolutely incredible Game Week 1 bench boost. A lot of people talk about the bench boost in Game Week 1, but then never pull through with it. And what a week he had, 103 points. The defence, not brilliant, but Saliba did get the assist, a clean sheet for Akanji, who is now, of course, an injury doubt for Game Week 4, and Estupinian with the assist in that one. But then look at that midfield. I mean, Madison, not many people owned him in Game Week 1, and he did really well against Brentford. Saka with a 10-pointer, and then look at the front line. Haaland, of course, on the captaincy versus Burnley, and Watkins with the assist. But then the great thing about this bench boost, the only thing I would say is John Stones. We did get a leak of him being out of that Burnley match, so maybe Ashley didn't get that leak, but he was on the bench boost and didn't play, so that was a real shame. But outside of that, an incredible bench boost because a Leno 12-pointer against Everton, Very, very nice indeed. And then it was Joao Pedro goal on his first start against Luton, and a Mark Gay clean sheet in that match up at Sheffield United. So a really successful bench boost, it's got to be said, and a great game week to get him up into the top 2K game week rank. Very, very impressive. So yeah, what a great start to the season for Ashley. He's currently ranked 101st in the entire world. So great to see such a good manager in my league. Thank you for joining, Ashley, and let's see how he does in the next month. But yeah, just rounding off some of the other players in the top 10, we've got Spencer O'Leary, good friend of mine, doing very well. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but it's a very good start. 73 points last week's very impressive. With him being a Chelsea fan, he does have a couple, Chilwell and Jackson. Udogie as well. I mean, that's a very good shout. 12-pointer, as is Moussa Diaby. Maddison on the bench, though, that is a bit of a stinker. He must have not heard the injury news. There was a late conference that Ange Postecoglou had, which confirmed that Maddison was possibly going to play. Estupiñán, 11-pointer. And Mbeumo, that's incredible. 16-pointer against Fulham. A lot of people didn't go with him, and so they missed out on that 16-pointer against Fulham, but very, very well done to Spencer there. And a very solid team, 51 points. And then in Game Week 1, it was incredible. A top 50k rank, 91 points. And the main one that stands out is Estupiñán, obviously did well, so did Chilwell. But look at that from Diaby right from the get-go, as was Bryan Mbeumo. So yeah, very good game week. Fair play to you, Spencer. And then just ruling off the rest of them in the top 10 of FPL Yellow Army's Loyal Legion. We've got Ellie Pullen, Block City FC, Varso Valley. We've also got Enzedo Eposh FC, Ethan Beecher, William Dollar Baby, great team name from Luke, Callum Wortley with Ben White Rice, and then finally Jared Phelan there with me, myself, and Zach. Very good team name, and yeah, very good score in game week number 3. But let's turn our attention to game week number 4, shall we? Because this was the thumbnail. These are the fixtures for game week number 4, and with Bryan Mbeumo facing Bournemouth, could he be a captaincy rival to Erling Haaland? Well, we'll find out if anyone has the cojones to do just that, because with a 91% effective ownership of Erling Haaland, it is very, very hard to back against the Norwegian. So our league entry, as I said, is now closed, but good luck this FPL season. Let's get into my team for game week number 4. So my game week 4 team selection is as follows. I've taken a -4 hit, and it's a controversial move, really, because I did take a -4 hit also last game week in game week 3. We did talk about all of that and the repercussions of that. Unfortunately, the -4 really didn't work last week because I did Salah out and I brought in Bryan Mbeumo after he looked good the first couple of weeks. Unlucky that Mbeumo blanked, but Salah obviously did get the assist in that win up at Newcastle, though for his price at 12.5 doesn't look to be justifying that with value, because he's just not getting those explosive returns you'd expect from Mohamed Salah. But yeah, shame to see that Salah did get a return and Mbeumo didn't. And then the other change I made for the -4 was Chilwell in for Gabriel, who didn't play for Arsenal. So that was a good transfer, 6-point swing there. Very happy that I sold Gabriel at last, and sold him the right week for sure. Didn't come on for a 1-pointer. But for many of people that did have players on the bench with points and Gabriel starting, it was a blessing for them, a lucky blessing that Gabriel never came on for that substitution. But yeah, great for me. Chilwell, 6 points, we take that, but it could have been so much more if Chilwell had just shot that pass from Jackson. Why he decided to pass to Raheem Sterling, I'll never quite know, but hopefully it's another -4 that works this time, because just instead of a defender and instead of taking out a so-called premium player like Mohamed Salah, I've gone for a more attacking upside -4, and we'll get into it right away. We'll start off with Andre Onana in goal. Now, of course, Onana in goal has not been great for Manchester United at the start of the season. A bit frustrating, especially last week for my team, because a 0-pointer against a Nottingham Forest side that didn't look great away from home last season is really disappointing. I mean, he makes a mistake for that Awani goal. I mean, he's just stumbling about on the line, but also he didn't make any save points, whereas the man in goal for Forest in the other part of that pitch in that game that was on my bench, Matt Turner gets 3 points. I mean, you just can't write it really. So yeah, I think Onana is a frustrating one. Not an ideal goalkeeper to own right now, even though he did get me that 9-pointer in Game Week 1. It's just not looking good for United defensively, and especially with now Rafael Varane out injured, that is a real pain. So yeah, there's a bit of a discussion about the Arsenal and Manchester United players this week. Plus people saying don't take out players like Gabriel Martinelli, and because that United defence with Varane out is going to be a bit of an issue. Arsenal could score plenty in that. And I'm a bit worried for that case. But with goalkeepers, I think in FPL, they are often a luxury transfer. If you have 2 frees, for instance, and you're willing to go to someone like a Flecken or a Vicario for Tottenham, then those are some decent options. But I think when I'm having other fires I need to put out, Onana is not a priority move, but it's one to monitor in the coming weeks, with United's fixtures actually getting better from Game Week 6 onwards. So hopefully some save points at least for Onana against Arsenal, even if he doesn't secure that clean sheet. Next up, we've got Chilwell against Nottingham Forest. Great fixture for the defender. He's so attacking. He's basically playing in that front three for Chelsea alongside Nicholas Jackson and Raheem Sterling. Now, Sterling is a big player for a lot of people this week. He is going to be fit after he was rested in the midweek Carabao Cup game with AFC Wimbledon. He wasn't in the squad, but it was just a rest for Raheem. So instead of having Sterling, I've gone for Chilwell. Obviously, I did bring in Chilwell in Game Week 3, and he got me the 6 points. But now it's time for some attacking returns for Chilwell. He's basically playing as a winger, out of position. So let's just hope that he can really deliver the goods and that Sterling and Jackson don't exactly explode while I don't have them. Then we got Rico Henry. Now, Henry last week was a real pain because he got the 2-pointer, whereas Matty Cash, who of course I did talk about in my video last week, which was a real pain really, because in Game Week 2 it looked like a good transfer, Cash to Henry. Cash ended up starting the Everton game, which I didn't expect. Henry also got a clean sheet, but did get booked for 5 points against Fulham. But then it really punished me. It was an unfortunate swing in Game Week 3 because Henry conceded against Palace. And then, of course, Cash came up with 2 goals in one game. You've never seen that before. And also Cash has now scored in midweek in the Europa Conference second leg. So it's like Matty Cash is trying to rub it in my face at the moment. But I still believe Rico Henry going forward is great. And Bournemouth is a good fixture this week. Hopefully, Flecken can keep up his good goalkeeping and get that clean sheet for Rico, and an attacking contribution as well for that differential pick of Henry at around about 7.1% owned. Would love to see a return there for Rico. Then we got Estupinian. Purvis Estupinian, it just is a bit too much of a attacking fullback for me to sell him. Despite the turn of fixtures for Brighton, it is looking a little bit ropey, but the way I look at it is this guy could return against anyone. And people are talking about this game week maybe benching him for some other defenders with better fixtures for clean sheets. You've noticed that the last few weeks there's actually not been many clean sheets. And I think Estupinian, if I benched him, I would really regret it. There was a moment last season where there was a double game week for Brighton. It was a tricky double game week, away to Newcastle and home to Arsenal. And everyone was saying, oh, we should bench Estupinian because he's not getting many attacking returns. And I, of course, bench him. And that week, he gets a 17-pointer, which you never would have foreseen, especially away to Arsenal scoring that goal. So ultimately, yeah, it was a real painful one. And I just don't want to go back there, really, because Newcastle could well score. But I still feel that Estupinian's got so much attacking upside. And, it's not really it's an outside factor, but also his ownership is very high. So there's just no point, in my view, going against that. When I think he's going to still do well, I don't think it's worth taking him out. Then Brian Mbeumo, I need him to do well in Mbeumo this week for me, because the last week was a bit disappointing. But hopefully, with him being on penalties, a good fixture against Bournemouth, he can get an attacking return. He's on the vice captaincy at the moment, just because I feel that he could do well in such a good fixture. But yeah, he really needs to be my man this weekend. Come on, Brian. Then Fernandes against Arsenal. It isn't the best of fixtures on paper, but Arsenal defensively haven't been brilliant this season, especially at home. They've conceded a few goals, and that Fulham game was a bad sign for their defence. But with Gabriel not in favour, but also with Arsenal, with the likes of Timber out injured, it's an interesting one. I think Arsenal could definitely concede in that one. And whether or not, Manchester United will look good again. They did look better against Forest, even if it was a nervy win. I think Fernandes is so creative, and he's on penalties as well. That's the added bonus. He just looks a better option right now than Marcus Rashford. And I did go into the season with just Fernandes, and that is looking like it pays off. But hopefully Fernandes can outscore Rashford once again this week. Mitoma against Newcastle, not the easiest of fixtures for Karu Mitoma, and a lot of people now are selling Mitoma because of Brighton's turn of fixtures. But the way I look at it is, let's just see how he does in these next few weeks, because before that blank against West Ham, Mitoma was on fire. So it's just 1 week that he's blanked. So don't knee-jerk him out too early, in my view. There is Europa League coming up for Brighton, and he could get rotated. But for now, I'm willing to keep, especially with the view that, you know, he could have that Game Week 6 fixture against Bournemouth if he starts. That could be really nice. Don't want to miss out on that. So, yeah, he's starting for now, but let's wait and see how he performs. Then Maddison against Burnley. He's one of my transfers in. So I've transferred out, interestingly, a player who, to be honest, like, isn't a terrible pick. Martinelli, I do believe, will do well the coming weeks, but there's just one shiny toy that I think will do even better than Martinelli, and that is James Maddison. And when I looked at the midfielders I had, Martinelli seemed the most likely to go, because in this current system at Arsenal, he's not kind of getting the most points, he's not getting the most out of that position, and it's not the easiest runs of fixtures for Arsenal. I mean, they have got Everton in Game Week 5, which will be a bit of a hide behind your sofa moment, but I'm hoping that Saka can cover for Martinelli. But also with Manchester United, you know, I think that they will try and be a bit more solid. Martinelli, he is going to be good with Jesus back fit. I don't know whether Jesus will start or not, but we'll have to see. However, I look at Martinelli and think, yeah, he's okay, but he's a possible rotation risk, especially with Champions League coming up, with Trossard taking some minutes off of him. So I don't doubt Martinelli will score points, but Maddison for me is just too essential to not have. He just looks so creative in that Burnley attack. In that Tottenham attack, I should say. Against that Burnley team, I think he could definitely cause havoc. And his heat maps are just unbelievable. He's having shots in the box, he's on set pieces, and ultimately he is just a player I want to own for the next couple of great fixtures. So Maddison is in for Martinelli. Saka as well, a Man United fixture that Saka did score in last season, so he can be a big man for the big occasion, and he did of course take the penalty last week, so hopefully he's back on those. Man United, you know, they can concede penalties, so hopefully that does go in my favour if Saka does get the chance to take the spot kick. Then we've also brought in Julian Alvarez. As you can see, the Argentinian has come in. A bit of a risk, I'm aware, because of Pep Roulette, but the way I look at it is, I think Alvarez is probably likely to play most minutes in the next few weeks of the season, because although there is, you know, a bit of a worry with Jeremy Doku coming in, Phil Foden's playing some minutes, but I think with Alvarez, I'm fairly confident that he will get 4 in 5 of the next 5 games of starts, which I think is enough to justify the upside, because he's got great fixtures coming up, has Julian Alvarez, and I just don't want to go into this run of fixtures without a second City attacker. Foden is also a possibility, but I think he's a bit too risky for minutes in my view, where there's other midfielders that can slot into there, and you know, he's just a bit of a rotation risk, Foden, but I feel like Alvarez is more likely to start with De Bruyne out injured, so I think he's got great fixtures, and I think I can play him over a fourth defender most weeks. But I've got Mark Guehi on the bench for Crystal Palace this week, just because the lack of attacking upside and the great fixtures for the other players in my 11. But I think definitely Mark Guehi could, you know, start some weeks that I think Alvarez could get benched. But this week I'm going for Alvarez. I think, you know, City did lose a couple of good goal scorers in Mahrez and Gundogan, and I think someone like Jeremy Doku might be replacing Mahrez rather than Alvarez in that position. So I think that goal threat is going to be really nice. And Alvarez is a really nice differential. Not many people going for him because of Pep Roulette. And he's only owned about 9.8%, I think it is. So very, very decent. Hopefully the Argentinian does well this week for me. And then I've got Erling Haaland on the captaincy, because it's just a fixture that looks very tasty. Fulham conceding the most XG conceded this season so far in the league. And Haaland is a very capable captain every single week. I know he did miss a penalty last week, but every striker has mistakes in him. But ultimately, Haaland's standards are so high that he can just get a goal once again and prove good for the captaincy. Then Turner against Chelsea is a bad fixture, but I still back the United defence over Forest defence. Mark Guehi against Wolves could well be a 6-pointer on my bench, and I may live to regret that, but I just don't see a way to fit him in with all the attacking options I've got, and I prefer those players. Hopefully Wolves will get a goal and I can, you know, not have regrets about that. Also Baldock, I did consider him this week with a good fixture against Everton, but I think the way I look at it is Sheffield United, they're not the best of defences themselves, even if Everton are a poor attack, and Beto coming in for Everton, maybe he could do well on his debut. We'll have to see. There was talk of Baldock maybe going to Athens, but we'll have to see with the deadline tonight whether or not the window when he leaves. but if it is a problem, then I can always sell him on a later wildcard. It's a 4.0 key defender, so he's not essential to change around when I've got other options in defence. And then finally, Mubama, bit of a shame really that he's not got the minutes for West Ham, because West Ham do play tonight, and I don't know if he'll get any minutes, probably not, but it's just a 4.5 fodder, so he's not worth changing. So that is the team locked in for game week number 4. Hope you have enjoyed. Smash a like on the video. As I say, give a subscribe to FPL Juice, because they are some brilliant content creators that really do deserve a follow. And if you do go on to enjoy their content, then comment your thoughts on there, and hopefully I can appear on an FPL Juice episode or so at some point in the near future next year. So yeah, do smash a like on it. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye. By the way, I just have to say, who came in for Alvarez, who came out for Alvarez, it was Joao Pedro, because of the fact that he is a rotation risk. And I know that this week, unfortunately, just by my luck, after Pedro got benched last week, you saw Ferguson and Welbeck start. Both of those look like they might be out. Definitely Welbeck. We think Ferguson might be out as well. So Pedro will inevitably start, inevitably score in what looks like a tricky fixture against Newcastle. But that's the rule of FPL. I back the decision even if the outcome doesn't work. So that's my thinking. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.